Hey guys, so welcome to the third video about Croatia, which is all about Split. I've already done a video on Zagreb and Plitvice National Park, so if you're planning your trip to Croatia, don't forget to check those out as well. But today we're getting into the coastal city of Split, which we went to because we just wanted to lie down on the beach for a couple of days and we heard a lot of good things about it. So the footage that I have is definitely not going to show you the real beauty of the city. It's a great city. It doesn't, like, the footage doesn't do it justice, but I didn't want to bring my big camera or my drone to the beach because we would be swimming and snorkeling and I couldn't really keep an eye on it, which is why I have horrible footage from my old iPhone 6 and a free action camera. So I'm sorry about that, but I hope it's still fun and informative. So let's get into what you can do and where to stay and anything like that. So we actually stayed in the old city center. We ditched our car, we left it back at the rental company when we got to Split, and then we did everything either by foot or we took an Uber or a taxi in a few cases. And that's definitely doable, especially if you just want to explore the older city and maybe some of the islands or some of the beaches that are a little bit further away, but most things are within walking distance. So a big reason for us to go there was because we wanted to lie on the beach for a few days, but the inner city, the old city, is definitely beautiful as well. And if you want to know a little bit more about the history of the city, I would recommend visiting the palace. It is really old. It was built in the 3rd and 4th century AD, I believe, and the city itself has been there since the 3rd or the 2nd century BC. So it is honestly thousands of years of history, and in the palace you can find more about the history. And I went there when I was just walking through the city on my own, and it was such a nice break also from the busy smaller streets that the city has. And you can already see the outside of the palace. Of course, it is just built into all of the other buildings in the city. It's not like a big castle on a hill or something. It is really just right in the city center. So it is a great place to visit. It's a great place to escape the heat a little bit as well. And it is, I think, only a couple of euros. But if you don't want to go inside the palace, there's still more than enough to see and to explore in the small city center. There's a cute market for all of your souvenirs, and there are plenty of places where you can go for a drink or a bite to eat, and some shops are available as well. It's not big on shopping in the old city center, of course, but there are some shops available. So we didn't actually explore too much of the inner city. We of course went there to eat and stuff like that, but we mostly just went to the beaches, and that is also what we immediately did on our first day. And let me take you through a couple of the beaches that we went to. I will also link a couple of beaches down below that you can visit if you visit Split. So the first day we went to the Bačvice Beach. I'll make sure to write that down because I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. And if you Google it, it will look pretty nice. But of course, when you go there in the middle of the summer, it will be packed with people, tourists mostly. And for us, it was kind of a letdown. There was absolutely no place to put your towel down. And when we finally ended up finding a spot, it was not comfortable. It was kind of gross. We went into the water very quickly, but it was just so crowded. I mean, there were way too many people there, and I think that was a trend throughout all of Split. It's like there was the tourism. It's a bit too much. It's not a huge city, so I don't know if you should really go into Split in the middle of the summer if you really want to explore the city itself, because it is so crowded. But yeah, it's still a nice place to visit. So anyway, we went to the beach and we sat down and we took a quick dip, but we quickly decided that that was not the place to be for us. It is the beach that is closest to the old city, which is probably why it's so popular and why so many people decide to go there. But the next day we tried something else. We looked for a beach that was a little bit further away, but also a little less crowded. And we ended up at Kašjuni Beach, which was a little bit further away, so we took an Uber, but you can also walk there. I believe it was like 45 minutes to walk there from the old city, and it is a pretty nice walk. You go through more green area, I believe it was a park, and it is hilly though, so keep that in mind if you do want to walk. But it is a beautiful walk, but it was really warm, so we decided to take an Uber, and we were glad that we did. We got there and there is a really nice restaurant with a bar, and they also rent out beds. And the beaches there, they mostly have pebbles. They're pebble beaches, not sandy beaches. So they are not very comfortable to lie on with just your towel, which is why we got a couple of the beds, and we enjoyed ourselves for an hour. And then this happened. So yeah, it started, first the wind picked up and then started pouring down with rain, and it was bad, and we hoped it would just blow over soon and maybe it would be like half an hour, but no, it was not. It went on for most of that day, and we were finally able to take an Uber back after an hour of standing there in the rain. But it was quite okay because we were all going through it there with all of the people that were there. But we could finally go back, and that was our second beach day. So we didn't have a lot of luck when it came to the beaches, but we actually decided to go to the mall that day, which was called the Mall of Split, a very original name, and it was nice. I mean, you don't really want to go to the mall when you go on your vacation often, but it was a nice thing to do when the weather was that bad, and we just explored the mall, got something to eat and something to drink, and we actually ate dinner there, and that was fine. It was a different part of the city, so it was about 15 minutes with an Uber from the city to the mall, and it's not too far. It's a newer part of the city, so it was kind of fun to see that as well. So if something like that happens to you, you can visit the mall if you want to. So on our third day, this kind of sounds like a story, but on our third day, I guess it is, we went to one of the islands, and we went to the island called Brac, and it is one of the bigger and closer islands to Split. It is easy to get a ticket. You can get it either right before you go or online. We got our tickets online, and if I can find the right link, I will put it in the description down below as well. And then we went there by boat, which was also a really fun experience. But when we got there, we didn't really think it through. We just sort of expected that we would get there and it would be super easy to go to the beaches, but it wasn't really. There was a bus that took a couple of people to one of the more popular beaches on the island, on the other side of the island, but we didn't really have that much time because it would still take quite a while to go there, and then you would be there and you would already almost have to go back immediately. So we decided to take a taxi to one of the beaches closer by, and that of course was really expensive, and we were there just exploring the beach and went snorkeling, which was really fun. We did have a lot of fun, but we only spent a couple of hours there and then we went back to the mainland. But if you do want to explore more of the islands, they are supposed to be beautiful, and that is why I also said you can easily spend more time in Split if you want to explore the islands and the surrounding area a bit more as well. So that were our experiences with the beaches, and I hope they are somewhat helpful. Know that Croatia doesn't normally have these big weather changes, at least not that I know of. I mean, most people there were actually like, it hadn't rained for 2 weeks. It's not as if they have like a raining season during summer or anything. We were just unlucky, I guess. So that was our time there, and I also wanted to quickly touch up on the nightlife because we had a couple of nice nights there. We went for cocktails and stuff like that, but we didn't really have any kind of party experience there. It's also not really my thing, but we did look for it a little bit, and it seemed that most places were only open during the weekends, and we were there just during the week. So if that's what you're going for, make sure to look up where you want to go and if it's open during the week as well. And my neighbors are working on their garden right now, sorry about that. But yeah, that is what I can tell you of Split. And next week I'm going to make my entire itinerary video, so I'm excited about that. If you have any questions about Split or any of the other places, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. If you're liking these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm almost at 100, so thank you so much for everyone that has subscribed so far, and I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.